Now that we have some basic derivative skills, our power rule, our constant multiple rule, sum and difference rule, we're going to move forward with some more rules, which today, one of them is going to be the product rule. The product rule is when you have two or more functions that are being multiplied together. We can't just take the derivative of f and multiply it to the derivative of g. That's not how the product rule works. It actually has a rule of its own. So we're going to take a look at that and then apply it to a couple of examples. So the product rule. So I have the function f of x multiplied to the function g of x. Its rule is we're going to take f of x and multiply it to the derivative of g of x plus the function g of x times the derivative of f of x. Okay? So f of x times g prime plus g of x times f prime. And another way that you can see this, it's the same idea, just a little bit different notation. If our functions are called u times v. U times v. Multiplication means product. So we're going to do the same idea. U times v prime plus v times u prime. A little bit shorthand, different notation coming from a different calculus discoverer, but it means the same thing. I've got this little nursery rhyme type thing that can help you remember this pattern. It definitely doesn't sound as scientific or cool, but it will help you remember it. It'll get stuck in your brain. So I say left d right plus right d left. And because this is addition, the order doesn't super matter, but it is going to be helpful when I'm doing it a certain way. So if you get used to doing it in this exact order, we'll be on the same page. Okay, but again, left d right plus right d left. D means derivative. That's why we see the u primes and the v primes. So let's dive in and let's look at an example. So I am going to take the derivative of 3x squared plus 4 times 5x minus 2. So with this guy, we could go ahead and we could multiply this together. We could distribute it out, take the derivative using our power rule, our constant multiple rule, and we would be done. But that would defeat the whole purpose of learning the product rule. Sometimes we cannot simplify out the product, so we've got to know how to use the product rule. So I'm using a basic example to show that. You go ahead and check it by multiplying them together and seeing what happens. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and use the product rule here, which is left. So my left function is 3x squared plus 4 times the derivative of the right. So the derivative of 5x minus 2 is 5. Plus my right function, which is 5x minus 2, times the derivative of the left, which is 6x. So left d right plus right d left. If the question had just said take the derivative, I'm done. I took the derivative. That's it. Left d right plus right d left over. But if it was a multiple choice, we want to be able to make it match, so we're going to go ahead and simplify it out. Practicing our algebra skills is important. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute these in. So I'm going to get 15x squared plus 20 plus 30x squared minus 12x. So that's going to give me 45x squared minus 12x plus 20. And there's my derivative. Okay. And again, go ahead and check it. See if you can get it by distributing those together and taking the derivative of the sum and difference rules that we talked about last time. Okay, I think I've got a little bit of time. I could squeeze in one more example. And this one, I'm going to take the derivative of 4x squared times e to the x. So I'm bringing that e to the x in just to keep practicing the different things that we talked about. So my left function is my 4x squared, and my right function is my e to the x. So left, d right, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x, plus right, d left, the derivative of 4x squared is 8x. Again, if the question says take the derivative, I'm done. Derivative done. But I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So this 4x squared e to the x looks fine. This, I'm just going to switch the order, 8x times e to the x. Just to stay with consistency, get the coefficient out front. X's come first, e to the x, whatever. It looks nice. I'm not summarized. I'm simplified to where I want to be done. Okay. Go ahead and practice the practice problems I'm putting up, and let me know if you have questions.